What's that sound? It's For Amusement Only, the EM and Bingo Pinball podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Tonight, it's bittersweet. It's the very last Bally Bingo. This game is actually solid state, and it's fully solid state. It's Bally's 1980 Continental. Continental is actually a remake of Dixieland, which, if you'll recall, was the 1978 six-card bingo, the last EM six-card that Bally produced. Continental has all of the same features as Dixieland. It has an 11-coin max. That means that your first coin will reset the game and light the first bingo card. Coins 2 through 6 will light the remaining bingo cards. Coin number 7 will light the red diagonals on cards 1 through 3. Your 8th coin will light the red diagonals on cards 4 through 6. Your 9th coin will double all of the replay amounts on cards 1 through 3 if you hit the magic number. Your 10th coin will do the same thing, but for cards 4, 5, and 6. And finally, your 11th coin will double one or more cards if you hit the magic number. So, let's talk about gameplay, because this game is feature-packed just like Dixieland. By default, you want to get 3, 4, or 5 in a row. Your 5 in a row on your bingo cards gives you the best amount of replays. So they range from 100 for 5 in a row on card number 1 to 300 on card number 6. And it's worth noting, for those of you just joining, that a bingo pinball playfield has a standard pinball plunger, but the playfield itself is comprised of 26 holes, 25 of which represent one of the numbers on each of the bingo cards, and the 26th hole is labeled ball return. If you manage to steer a ball all the way down the playfield to this ball return hole, it will come back to you at no penalty and you get to play it again. This is a 5-ball game, and so you get 5 chances to get your 5 in a line on one card. So, the red diagonals are a powerful feature. That's your 7th and 8th coin. They allow you to score on alternate diagonals. Typically, on a Bally bingo, your scoring is limited to the primary diagonals, the ones that run through the center number on any of the bingo cards. Well, the red diagonals allow you to score in the off diagonals, which is very powerful because normally I get a really nice 4 in a row on one of the red diagonals. But on the 6-card game that I own, red diagonals are not a feature, and therefore I don't have a winner. The magic number is very interesting. When you shoot your first ball, the game will search for a magic number, and it can be any one or two of the following: 1, 7, 9, 22, and 25. Ideally, you want it to be up closer to the top, so 1 and 7 are probably the best ones to get. 9 isn't bad, 22 you gotta steer pretty far down, and 25 you can hit if you get a nice right side roll. So if you manage to hit that on your first ball, that's the best, because that tells you exactly which card is double, and from there you can build your 5 in a line on whatever card or cards may be lit. Well, this game doesn't stop there. It also has the corners feature, which is lit by hitting the rollover on the playfield. And you have to actually hit the one on the left-hand side when it's lit. When you hit it, and it's lit, it will light corners on all 6 of the bingo cards. If you hit each of the 4 corners of any of the bingo cards, you will win your 5 in a line odds for that card. Pretty powerful. Now on the right hand side of the playfield, you have a yellow rollover. And if you hit that, that will light your super lines on every card. Your super line is the line, the horizontal row, which is next to the bottom on every single card. And if you get 3 in a row on any of the super lines, it will score as if you got 4 in a row for that card. 4 in a row scores as 5. So, again, your best bet, hit the magic number on your first ball. Start building your 5 in the line, and make sure you do it on the card that is double-double, and you'll have a good time. Now, this game brings back the double or nothing feature, so when you search for a winner, if you have all scores double-double, let's say on card number 6, then you get 1,200 replays if you get a 5 in a row. With that magic number, remember, all scores double, and then all scores double-double on a random card. So you search for your winner, and it finds it, and it'll start flashing double or nothing. Now, if you push the D button on the footrail, you have a chance at doubling that 1,200 replay win to 2,400 replays. Of course, on the flip side, you also have a chance of getting 0 replays. Now, if you push the R button instead, you'll just collect your normal 1,200 replay win, which is nothing to sneeze at. So, you have to really weigh the risk and reward. How difficult was it for you to build that 5 in a line? Did you manage to hit number 9 or number 25 as your magic number, and hit the right-hand rollover and light your super line for card number 6? Perhaps you only needed 4 numbers in order to get that 5 in a line. Whatever the case may be, you have to really think about what you're doing on any of the 6 cards, but especially Nashville, Dixieland, and Continental, because after you shoot your first ball, the whole game changes. Typically what I try to do with my first ball is to hit the center number on one of the bingo cards. So for example, number 22 is the center number on card number 6. That number gives you the best possible outcome because you have 8 possible numbers that can form a set. That's 2 numbers that are adjacent to each other. However, if your magic number is 1, which is the bottom left corner of the 6th card, then the entire game changes, and you want to get a number which is in a completely different area of the playfield. So you have to really think about what you're doing, steer the ball, and carefully nudge the game without tilting so that you make your number. Now, I've never played one of these, and I'm not sure if it works like some of the other solid-state bingos, but many of them have a speaker, which will play a little beep or a little tune in order to let you know that you've won. Looking at the board set, I see a Bally early solid-state board set that's been modified slightly, and I don't see evidence of a speaker, at least in the area that I can see. So, another interesting tidbit, apparently the entire production run was supposed to be shipped to Belgium, and Belgium, if you'll recall, still makes solid-state bingos today. So in this way, the Bally tradition carries on. But what's kind of interesting, as with many bingo things, Vic Camp had played a solid-state Continental on location in New Jersey around the time that they came out. I find it unlikely that it would have been a re-import, so where does that leave us? Apparently some of them found their way into the U.S. market, and how or why is a matter of conjecture until I find somebody to talk to who's willing to talk about that, but it is pretty interesting to think about. So, let's talk about artwork. The Backglass for Continental, and in fact the entire theme, is reminiscent of Old Chicago, for those of you familiar with that game. You have a 30s or 40s style limousine and a couple of elegantly dressed folks in the background. Much of the backglass is taken up by the bingo cards themselves. And then you have Continental written out in a similar font to Old Chicago and using similar pastel colors. The cabinet has an attractive square and rectangle pattern, and in the center of the lower cabinet there's a stencil of a woman in a circle inside this rectangle and square pattern. The coin door is different. Bally moved to using the same coin door that they used on many of their solid state games. And the Playfield, again, reminds me of Old Chicago. You have the limousine from the Backglass up at the top near the ball arch, and on the left side you have a woman with black hair dressed in red, and on the right hand side you have a woman with blonde hair dressed in black. The numbered holes are offset from each other in the artwork with a background of alternating white and green. And with that, a chapter comes to a close. All of Bally's bingos have been documented in audio format. I hope you've enjoyed this game-by-game listing of Bally's bingo pinball machines, and shortly we'll probably circle back and talk about the United bingos, which are different, clever, and interesting in their own regards. That's all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, also at Bingo Podcast, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.